Okay. So excited to be here with you again on another episode of Real Women, Real Leaders, Real Talk. I am your host, Coach Tracey Knight, and I'm super excited because all week long we've been talking about what it means to be stuck. To be stuck in one or more areas of your life. What I've discovered is that for a lot of women, we are really rocking it out in a couple areas of our life, but there is that one space, that one area that we feel like we haven't been able to quite push past our limits to be able to achieve or accomplish the goals that we have. And so, each and every segment, I want to make sure that I'm coming and bringing real value to you so that you can get the life that you desire and the life that you deserve. Oftentimes people are stuck and they don't even know it. So throughout the week, we've been talking about things like your mindset and how your mindset really sets the tone for everything. We also talked about being in denial. A lot of times we're in denial, and of course you're in denial, so you don't even know you're in denial, or you're in denial about being in denial. But denial is just a form of resistance. And once we become aware of the pain, of the impact that being stuck is having on our life, you have this opportunity to choose to do something different. And that can sometimes bring about the subject that I want to talk about today, which is to be afraid, right? So today's subject is fear keeping you stuck? Yes. So one of the things I want to invite you to do is one, visit my website, which is iamtraceyknight.com, where you can download a copy of my free ebook called The 5 Fatal Fears that are keeping you from living life on your own terms. These are the 5 fatal fears that are absolutely keeping people from pushing past their limits. They are the 5 fatal fears that oftentimes cause us to feel like we are stuck in life and want to settle for less than what we really want, desire, and deserve. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then you can always ping me. One of the things I want to invite you to do is also to go to my YouTube channel, which is I Am Tracey Knight. Definitely subscribe to my channel and then turn on the notifications so that you know exactly when I go live throughout the week. I'm going to be traveling here soon, and so I will still be going live even though I'm on travel, because I want to make sure that, life doesn't stop. So you need to make sure that you have your coach with you. No matter what is going on in your life, you can rock it out. All right. So let's jump right in and talk about some of those 5 fatal fears. The first fear that I think is the most prominent, and it's the one that we know the most about or we hear the most about, is the fear of making mistakes. This is the fear of failing. And so what that oftentimes looks like is, or the reason that comes about, is because we don't really have a healthy relationship with the idea of failure. What I subscribe to is that failure is just feedback. That's all it is. And I want to apologize on behalf of the K-12 educational system. I want to apologize on behalf of every educator in the country. We have created a system, an educational system, that penalizes people for not knowing the information or being able to apply the information. In other words, we penalize people for the learning process. And here's what I often say about this. I used to teach class. I used to teach school. I've taught mathematics and science especially. And in the scientific process, you form a hypothesis, and then the object of the game from there is to go out and test that hypothesis. But in the testing of the hypothesis, you are actually going to be discovering what does not work. You're going to also discover what does work, but you're also going to discover what does not work. So hence this idea of failure. Do you think we got to this technology overnight? Absolutely not. There were a lot of breakdowns. There were a lot of times that things didn't quite work. And in fact, most companies that develop gadgets and that type of and other types of products, they want to get in there and fail fast, and they want to fail often so that they can work out the kinks. And so as educators, what we have done is we've become somewhat hypocritical because we teach the scientific process as a part of the curriculum. We want children to understand it. Like, no, I'm sorry. We want them to be aware of it, but we also don't allow them to apply that if they are learning multiplication and they're testing their skills in multiplication and they don't get all the answers correct, they are not given the same leeway to be able to evolve in growing and developing those skills. You don't get the opportunity to sort of test and practice without being dinged with an F. And what that has done is over the years, because none of us want to feel like a failure, if we're not getting A's or we're not getting it right the first time, what we do is feel like a failure, like it becomes personal to who we are, and it's absolutely not the truth. The other thing that this thing about the failure does is a lot of times what women will do is not even try at all, because they don't want the slight that comes with not getting it right the first time. So if you find that in your life, you are discovering that maybe you've been married and now divorced, let's just say, or you've dated and been in relationships, but things didn't work out, you may find yourself being hesitant around stepping out there to love again because you've deemed yourself as being a failure at relationships. And so you don't want to make another mistake, quote unquote mistake, so you don't even try. The same thing is true in terms of putting yourself out there in terms of like projects that you're working on. A lot of times people don't raise their hand and say, hey, I've got an idea about how we could look at this problem from a different perspective, primarily because they don't want to be seen as the person who brought a solution that did not work. And so opposed to looking at it as feedback, which is what it actually is. Okay. So that's the number one fear that may be causing you to feel stuck in your relationships, may be causing you to feel stuck at work, it may be causing you to feel stuck in your health. Like maybe you've tried releasing weight or new eating habits and things have not worked out in the way that you thought they would. And so you don't want to try it again because you don't want to feel like you're making a mistake or as if you are a failure. Okay. I'm going to do the second one here, which is the fear of being an imposter. This is so huge for women, especially big, ambitious women like me and others who really want to rock their life out and who have taken some bold steps in their life, gotten degrees, they've gotten a high-powered job, they've had success, which they have earned, but they may not see themselves as actually belonging in the boardroom, which is where they found themselves, or they don't oftentimes feel like they deserve to be there or that they can hold it, like they can be, even though they're achieving success, they may minimize their success. So this idea of being an imposter, having a mask on, not being either worthy of it for some people, for others, it's constantly needing to prove that you're worthy in the workplace, that you measure up. So you go way above the call of duty, taking on way more than you need just to prove that you're not an imposter in the role that you're in. And it's what burns women out. Or the superwoman who never asks for help. She takes care of all of it because she wants to demonstrate that she is not an imposter in the role that she's in. And I'm just here to tell you this thing about trying to prove ourselves or demonstrate to ourselves and to others that we're not an imposter is the thing that is causing the biggest breakdowns in our lives and in our relationships. It's what's causing the stress and anxiety for those women out there that are starting businesses and you're trying to figure out how to grow those businesses. Oftentimes you will feel like an imposter because maybe you don't feel like you have achieved the level of success in your business that you have envisioned and you know that you can do, but it hasn't quite materialized. So what that will do is produce this feeling and this air of being an imposter. It's not the truth. And I have some solutions for you in my ebook. I'm going to do those two today, and then I'm going to come back with you and I'm going to ping the other 5 fatal fears. I'm going to go over the other 5 fatal fears in some upcoming episodes. So I want to make sure that you stay tuned to hear what other fears may be keeping you stuck in the muck. And so let me remind you that if you're on Instagram, Facebook, please like and share this post. I also want to invite you to come over to YouTube, where you become a subscriber of my channel at I Am Tracey Knight. And I also want to invite you to turn on your notifications so that you will know exactly when I come on and go live. You will not want to miss some of these upcoming segments because they will absolutely help you change and transform your life. I'm Coach Tracey Knight. I want to remind you that today is the day that we begin to take back, transform, and win at our own life. I'll be back again with you soon. Peace.